hire a salesperson?
So there's a number of hurdles you have to overcome. And I will say as well, this is advice for bootstrapped or lightly funded, because if you've got heavy funding, if you've raised 100 million in a pre-seed round, these rules don't apply, which doesn't really happen much anymore. But kind of 2-3 years ago, it was happening all the time. These rules do not apply to you. You have money and you have to stupid quickly go hire everyone you possibly can. But if you're in a bootstrap scenario where you've raised a little bit of cash, enough for some runway, the founder has to learn how to sell first. The founder has to be able to do the job, generate a little bit of revenue, and then look to hire a seller themselves. But I have a bit of a checklist for what the things are that you need to be able to do and prove before you can actually hire. The first one is you need to know what the expectation is. Do you expect them to get on the phone and cold call? Do you expect them to handle inbound leads? Do you expect them to be closing one deal a week, one deal a month, one deal a quarter, one deal a year, anywhere in between? Maybe I remember when you and I were actually years and years and years ago, there was a job at a company you were working at where they were expecting you to close over 100 deals a month. And I remember running the maths and I just said, Ryan, the maths ain't mathing. It doesn't make sense. So you got to have that expectation of what can they actually achieve. Then you got to set the goals. So not what's possible, because a founder might do 100%. Most of the time, the goal will be about 80% is a rule of thumb of what's possible. So that's the goal. And also sales, a lot of it is about a confidence game. You got to get a couple of wins early on as a sales rep, and then you got to keep your confidence and keep building it. So you want to set the goal lower than what is actually possible. It's a rule of thumb, a new seller in an organization that's never had sales reps before and it's always been the founder, best case scenario, they're going to deliver at about 80% what the founder can do. And then the next one's 80%, the next one's 80%. So like you do replace yourself more than 100%, but founders do just sell differently. So don't take that idea of, hang on, I can close 10 deals a month, just throwing it out there. Therefore, a professional seller who's got more time is going to be able to close more than me. That ain't how it works. Set it at 80%. So you want them to be able to, kind of best case scenario, they should close 8 deals in that month. So that's the goal, different to the expectation, because the expectation is what's the absolute best case. Goal is what you want them to achieve. Then you actually have to know how to do their job. And you have to give it to them, because even if you're hiring someone who is a founding AE, they've been the first seller in a company 3, 4, 5 times before, odds are they don't know your market, don't know your customer, don't know your product, don't know your USP. They don't really understand anything about what you're selling. They've got the past. And it's if you just hire them and go, hey, work it out, you're going to have a year where they make literally no sales. Because they have to work out how to generate leads, how to talk to people, how to what does onboarding look like? What does closing look like? What does this person get when they actually buy? What's the thing they want to buy? Not the thing that you're actually selling them, the thing they want to buy. And an example of that would be nobody wakes up and is like, you know what? I want to buy a bottle of water. Nobody wants to buy a bottle of water. They want the hydration. Or if they're buying a can of liquid death, they want people to see that they've spent way too much money on a product that they can get from the tap because it's got a cool name. So liquid death people are not buying hydration, they're buying something completely different. So working, but still water is the example. So work out all those things, and that gets broken down into 4 steps. How are they going to generate leads? Is it cold calling? If it's cold calling, have you successfully cold called at least the first 10 customers and got them on board? If you haven't, don't expect them to do it. Is it going to be inbound? Okay, if it's inbound, have you successfully generated enough inbound leads that you've closed at least the first 10 before they join? So basically, they aren't going to just be able to create demand straight away. You need to know how they're going to get their leads. How are they going to engage with their prospects? Is it discovery call, demo call, follow-up, close? Just the very basic level. Is it one call closes? Are they expected to cold call and get people to commit to something straight away? And that's how they engage with the prospect. What did that look like? Third thing, how do they close? I know that sounds stupid, but Are they taking a credit card? They send an invoice. When someone says, yes, I want to buy, what are they actually doing? Are you in Germany and you're collecting SEPA direct debit details? Like, when someone says yes, what actually happens? You'd be amazed how many people don't have that systemized. And you're just like, but what happens if people say yes? The sales rep has no idea. And the last one is, how do you onboard your customer? What happens after they say yes and they get the invoice and they pay the invoice via a wire transfer, for example? What happens? What's call one? What's step one? Is it entirely self-serve onboarding? Is there an onboarding team that runs through that? Do they go back to you as the founder, and the founder's going to be the one actually onboarding them because you just don't have a team in the success area yet? Like, you need to know that whole thing. So I'll go through this because I've listened to very long-winded again, but you need to know what's the expectation? So what's possible? What's the goal? Set it at about 80% at the absolute most of what's possible. How do they do their job? Which is broken then down into how do they get leads? Where are they coming from? How do they engage with those prospects? How do they close the buyer? And how do they onboard the customer? If you don't have that, don't hire a seller, because you can't expect someone to come in and do a co-founder level job and not get co-founder level compensation and equity. Either you will hire someone senior enough to do it and you will pay them through the nose for the first year while they work the thing out, and you've just spent way too much money that you don't have, or you'll find someone super junior who thinks they can do it, and that's even worse because they can't. You've wasted your time, you've burned a hell of a lot of leads, and your runway is now 3, 6, 12 months shorter, and you've burnt time trying to train an individual, and then you turn around and go, oh, no one else can sell this but me. And yeah, at this stage, that's probably true. So yeah, get those things in place.
Hey, it's Ryan here. If you liked that video, please click the like and subscribe button somewhere down there and check out the full interview right over here. Go on, click it. You know you want to.